and thank you very much for tuning back in to Temple of the East. It's just a bit of an update on where I'm at with the commissions for Tristan. So I hope he's going to enjoy this update here today. So we have, so far this is the Lions part of it, and this character here, bring me to focus here, but yeah, I did actually manage to finish him, and yeah, very proud of the paint job. I try to get them as close as I can to the originals from the masters, the French masters that worked in the studio back in the day, and I always enjoy that challenge of getting them as close to as I can to the original ones. So he's just needing some basing like the other models too, but as far as that's concerned, it's on track, and I hope you enjoyed seeing that part of the Lions. Now we're going to work on the Acheron side of the commission, and I'll come back in just a moment with some paints and with the great crane, or the mighty crane. Overview of the catalogue photograph of the studio paint job for the great crane, and of course he's a living legend that came in a box. He's quite a big boy, and here's my attempt at just putting some base coats down, basically just starting. It's a white primer, or the zenithal primer that or base coat that Tristan put on it, but basically I'm just trying to achieve that sort of dark, moody, atmospheric paint job, working from very dark to light on the paint job itself. So let's get to the paint table and let's get some painting done. So I hope this weekend you're finding some time to get some paint on some miniatures, guys or girls out there. And I did see in the news that Monolith Games have released an announcement that Didier Poli, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is back working for them on the new releases for their Rackham license, which is really good to see. I know Martin was very happy to see that, so that's good. And his former work colleagues. And please let me know in the comments what you're working on. What are you guys painting? We're very interested to know what kind of projects you're working on. So don't keep me in the dark. Please show me and share, or you can't show me exactly, but share what you're working on. And a shout out to Jeremy from End of the World Gaming. He messaged me today to say hello, and I told him that I was going to make a video today, and just to say that yeah, motivation's been down for him because of his working circumstances, that he has to work at night. So, you know, night working is not really conducive to, you know, having games and hanging out with friends and that kind of thing. So yeah, sorry to hear that, mate, and I hope, and he did say in positivity that he was finding the motivation to pick up a brush and do some hobby in his downtime. So that's good to hear, and very encouraging. And would be very interested to know what your thoughts are and hopes and aspirations would be for Monolith Games in them now acquiring the license for Rackham. What do you hope to see? Now we know that the hybrid game will be in some iteration, in some form, released or more news will be coming out next year. Whether that will be like presented at shows where they'll be demoing the game, which is probably the most likely course that they will take with the product initially, to get the hype going, and obviously they'll show pictures of stuff of the miniatures and everything like that leading up to it, the contents of the game, everything like that will be coming, no doubt. But do you foresee that they would actually release a tabletop skirmish game reminiscent of what was then currently like 3rd edition Confrontation? I know there's 4th edition Confrontation. I've never played that game, and I don't think I ever will. And I'm not a big fan of the pre-painted plastics that came. That sort of killed my my aspirations of anything positive coming out of Rackham when they announced that. So, and I don't think I'm alone there when I say that. But I'm sure there's people out there that really love the plastics and the pre-painted plastics, and it was like a great entry into the hobby. And they discovered Confrontation through that 4th edition box set, and they thought it was the best thing they've ever seen or ever had. So, but for us old grognards, it was kind of like the nail in the coffin, so to speak, to see all those beautiful models, all that talent just being washed away for some very, very mediocre, I think they were anyway, plastic models. But then I've never had one in my hand, so I can't give full judgment for what I've seen. I just wasn't impressed, and I'm not a big fan of PVC plastics as a collector, as a painter. They just do not do anything for me, but I can see why the appeal was there. AT43 got that sort of going, and they thought, okay, well, that's going really well, that's selling really well, let's get on to Confrontation in the same way. And I'm sure there's two sides of the argument that it was a good move for them business-wise, to get more people playing the game rather than just focusing on the miniatures, and that being which is kind of what they would want to be doing anyway. They're not making money out of rule books, they're making money out of selling miniatures. So this great crane has got quite a interesting sort of color scheme on his blade here. I'm trying to emulate that the best I can. I am actually using, quite controversially, a synthetic brush, a nylon hair brush. Not one of the fancy ones. And these are one of the Vallejo detail brushes. And I picked up a set by accident. I think I'd probably been drinking, and I just clicked on the button thinking it was their Pro line, which is the Sable ones, which are really good. I've tried one of their brushes and I thought they were absolutely brilliant. And these came instead. And then upon realizing it, thinking I'd never use them, and then recently I had some very fine work to do on certain miniatures, and I thought, I'll give them a shot. And they've actually turned out to be quite a good brush. So all credit to them. But given the state that Vallejo found themselves in, they better hope and pray people start buying their products again. But yeah, getting back to the former point I was trying to make is that, let us know in the comments what you would like to see Monolith Games do with the license. Like, would you like to see, for example, something like Cry Havoc, where they had like just detailed series of articles, maybe some gaming aid booklets to support their their licensed products with different scenarios and all that kind of thing for like hybrid when it comes out. I think that'd be a really good idea if they did that, just to extend the life of the game. But you know, I think maybe like an online kind of resource for that would be really good. I'm really hoping they re-release models, at least in resin. I can understand why they wouldn't go in metal, but give people the option. That's what a lot of Kickstarters are doing. Yeah, give people the option. They've got the metals or the resins, and then you can make up your own mind based on what your finances are. But if they do release hybrid, I'm hoping personally that they have that option, that you can get the miniatures in metal, and that you have the option for resin. And obviously that will, you know, impact the shipping, impact the cost. But, you know, if the miniatures are really, really well sculpted, which I believe they will, you know, they seem really passionate about the license, and they wouldn't have bought it otherwise. And I've had on good authority, talking to a friend of mine who's a industry insider, who also their company also tried to bid on it as well, but they lost out. That they invested quite heavily into the license, and you know, they weren't doing that with the intentions of just sitting on it and doing nothing with it, and just, you know, sitting idle on the license. They were doing it so that they were going to, you know, really make something of it. They've got obviously a great love of the IP, and that they're going to turn this into something to be proud of. So it's really positive. I think I think, even though I was talking to the other person, thinking, oh, it would have been good if you guys had got it, because, you know, they're an English-based company. It would have, the translation would have been much better. But obviously nowadays they've got, you know, hired professionals that do all this kind of work. It's not like the old days of Rackham, where we had some, let's just say, some kind of strange pidgin English, if that's not not a term that's going to offend any of my French wonderful friends out there. But yeah, it was kind of strange, and I think they just needed another person, a third party person, to sit in there and to say, okay, well, you know, this is okay, but this needs to be rewritten and redone and that kind of thing. But then, you know, I think Eric was doing a lot of stuff for them as well. Eric, is it Harlow? Been a while since I've spoken to Eric, so if you are watching, mate, it's high time we have another chat. But yeah, it's kind of exciting. It's reinvigorated the community a little bit, which is really good to see. And considering the shit they've been fed, like, over all the other failed attempts to resurrect Rackham, then they're more than deserved of getting a good product with the care and attention that Monolith seem to, they seem to be emphasizing that they're going to do. But I suppose other people have done that before as well, and, you know, it's all fallen on their ass, and it's all just been a complete shit show, you know, to put it quite frankly, in the end. I mean, luckily I didn't do the Kickstarter, which people don't want to talk about. It's the, you know, Remain Nameless Kickstarter, but luckily I didn't back it, because I saw the stuff and I thought, why are they, like, I can see why they did it, but, you know, they had like just one model of, when it should have been like 3 models to a pack, or, you know, 2 models instead of 3 of the different variants. You know, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I really wanted all of them rather than just you know, a selection of certain models. It just seemed weird, but we all know how that all ended up. So yeah, It's going to take Monolith a lot to convince people to come back to it, but at least it won't be. Well, I hope it's not going to be a Kickstarter. I hope it's just going to be, bang. Here it is. It's out. It's a release. We're just going to bank our money on it. We spent a shit ton of money getting and acquiring the license, and now let's just show your product so that you can buy it, and then later after that, yeah, okay, then go to a Kickstarter with a potential rule set and all that for a tabletop game or something like that. But yeah, I think it's time to well, it looks like they're going to deliver something, but I would say, going by their other products like Conan and everything and Batman, it will be a Kickstarter. But you're going to get something. That's the thing. That's what they're banking on. And a quick shout out to Augustine Katia. Kataia. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry about that. But Augustine, I think it's your first name. And Aldo Fittler and Crane. Sorry again if I mispronounced any of your usernames. I can only apologise. But I just wanted to say thank you very much for subscribing and considering this content, if anything, worthy of following. So thank you. If there's something you would like to see me do on the channel, let me know. Now, as I probably will iterate every single time in the video, this is not meant to be a painting video at all. This is meant to be just something in the background while you paint. I want to see you guys paint. I want to hear that you guys have been painting. You guys have been doing something. It's a motivation for myself, and hopefully it will motivate others, and that's all I'm looking for. And hopefully a bit of interaction along the way with the viewers and listeners here. So. But I have been looking forward to painting this model in particular out of all of them because yeah, it's got a very interesting color scheme, and yeah, it's just a very imposing model. I actually thought it'd be a lot bigger than this in real life, to be honest. So I was kind of surprised with the scale. I thought it'd be like this high. It was like, you can see it, I thought it'd be much higher, like this high. Looking at the photographs, it looked very, very tall and imposing. So kind of surprised that it's a little bit smaller. I mean, I thought it'd be the size of the mountain warrior for the dwarves. I thought that sort of scale, like a real giant looking crane warrior. But yeah, he's only a little bugger. I'm using mostly TT Combat paints. For this one, and not for any particular reason. I've just got a whole ton of them here from them kindly to use and test out. So I found some beautiful shades of red for the lions that just fitted perfectly. So they worked out very, very well for those guys. Not that I'm sponsored by them or anything like that. They just got in contact with me one day and said, hey, would you like to review some of her products, and I said yes, I'll definitely be interested. So paint wasn't part of that deal. It was just like a MDF bunker they use for sci-fi gaming, and it's got that retro feel from second edition 40k and all that kind of stuff. So I did that for them. I just mentioned I heard your paints are pretty good, and they kindly sent me some. So it was very, very nice of them. They certainly didn't have to, and as a way of thanking them, I'll mention that I'm using their wonderful acrylic paints, which are very good. What paints do you use? Do you have a preference? Is it a mix? I've always been a Vallejo guy through and through, and it's been very, very hard for me to break that because of the style of the bottles. I like the dropper bottle as opposed to the flip lid type ones, but I know some people prefer those. I even saw Martin on his Facebook page, or his profile I should say, on Facebook, that he's painting some really classic Warzone models. Remember those from Target Games? He's painting some models that Kev Adams sculpted, actually. Now I don't know diddly dick about Warzone, to be really honest with you. I've never played it. I remember seeing it in the stores, obviously in the 90s and everything, and it was kind of like a screw you to Games Workshop when a lot of the guys left, or were told to leave, or forced to leave, and they went off and did other things. And Target Games, as far as I know, was an American company that was obviously funded by someone who had a lot of money, and they thought, hey, let's make something that's going to be competitive to Games Workshop at the time. But for whatever happened, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know anything about the company and its demise, but obviously something went awry, and they must have ran out of money, or they had financial backers or something like that, and they just couldn't meet their profit quotas or whatever, and it all went belly up. So, but yeah, Martin's painting those, so he's always had a soft spot for those models apparently. But interesting enough, getting back to the paints, is that he's using Warzone paints, and I had no idea they had a paint range. So that was cool to see, with some really nice looking hues of colour on there. Actually, I thought they looked pretty good. I've got to say, with this miniature, it's really hard to see where bone starts, where bone finishes on this thing. I'm just going to have to make some managerial decisions here and where things go. But it is a bit of a cluster effort. When it comes to detail, it's kind of a bit muddled, not very well defined. But like, as the TT Combat guys said, I said, I'll give them a shout out here and there when I can, as I am using their products. And they're a relatively small company based in the UK. And he said, yeah, that'd be good, because with a saturated market that paints are for hobbyists, which is absolutely right. There's more paints now out there for miniature gamers and hobbyist modelers and that kind of thing than ever before. So, and luckily I've got this huge cork. These corks are something I got from my mum many years ago, when she was clearing out some huge pots in her pantry, and I said, I'll definitely take those cork lids, because they're perfect for doing large models. And normally, if normally I would, because these are already based and sent to me based, normally I'd pin the model and stick the pins directly into the cork, and then paint the model, varnish it, and then take it off and stick it in a base. but now I've just got to strap it down with some elastic bands and some tape, some masking tape, just to secure it down, because I don't want it coming off anytime soon. Let's put some blue on here in my palette, because he's got a blue blade, blue-black blade. So let's give that a whirl. And talking about Martin, he gets brought up a lot, doesn't he, in these discussions? But you know, talking about wet palettes, and he doesn't use a wet palette because he needs to control the levels of you know, the consistency of the paint and that kind of thing. I probably brought up in another chat before. Sorry if I did, but yeah, I kind of. Personally, I sort of rely on a wet palette now. It's kind of like a crutch. If I take the palette away, and I've tried it before, thinking I'd go old school and go the other way, but yeah, it just didn't work out for me in the end. But Martin's not alone. There's a lot of people who do their painting without a wet palette. Are you one of those people? Let me know in the comments again. But I do like just throwing some colours and let it blend through here and there, just getting a nice sort of mix of different things. I enjoy doing that for projects like this, like the Undead, and for certain old Hammer models, for Chaos and that kind of thing. You can really go to town and get some really interesting effects on it. Okay, well, I think we're coming close to the end of this painting session, because dinner needs to be made. My wife needs to be, you know, happy when she returns from a hard day's work, and beer needs to be drunk. It's Saturday. Mind you, that's no excuse. I mean, I drink every day. I'm an old drunkard. But thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Hope you get something out of the videos. If anything, just the will to paint. And for me, I'm just happy to provide something, some kind of content for the channel. And I'm really excited about what 2025 will bring in terms of the game. So, and video creation. And it'd be exciting to have something new to show, like with what's happening with Monolith, you know, having on my table something brand new with the Rackham logo on it and everything. That'd be really exciting. So it's a great time to get back into it. I know they're working with certain community members out there who have been really quite prolific in various different ways in media, or producing models, or with some ties to the company. So I hope to see Martin painting miniatures for them. That'll be really great. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That's what he's looking for. I can't even speak. That's what he's looking like so far. Tristan, if you're watching this, and maybe he's a little bit in the dark here, but he's getting paint on him, and I hope to continue this in another sort of paint chat kind of thing with coffee next time, because it's going to be a morning video, hopefully on Monday. So I hope you can join me then. And until then, guys, look, take care, enjoy your hobby this weekend, and I hope to hear from you in the comments. Until next time.